Hey everybody, what's happening? It's Stuart Moore with Landscape Rescue, and I've got a video that I want to do about herbicides. Let's go.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick video, and I wanted to tell you my mindset when it comes to spraying non-selective herbicides. I'm just going to say herbicides in general because I still use the same amount of care when I'm spraying a non-selective herbicide. It's just a little easier to not hurt things you don't want to hurt with selective herbicides. So if I'm doing a weed and feed or something on a lawn, I don't have to worry as much about that. But I still want to be careful with those because I don't know what the selected is unless I'm diligent about reading the label, right? So I always keep those out of landscapes. Selective herbicides aren't necessary. I mean, you got to do a lot of experimenting with them. I use a type of herbicide, a selective herbicide called Fuselade, which targets a lot of different things, but it specifically, for me, its use is to target Bermuda and get Bermuda out of turf grass. But I use it in flower beds. Now, if I'm spraying Fuselade, nimbly bimbly, just all up in the air like a crazy person, like I'm having an innocent gasoline fight and I hurt something in my flower bed and I plant in mass. So let's just say Fuselade hurts, which it didn't last year, but let's just say it hurts my salvia and I spray it in all of my bed. I just lost $70 worth of salvia, provided I paid $1 a piece from each one of them. I have a lot of salvia. I know it's a sickness, but I do. So that is why experimenting in smaller spaces, you know, being cognizant of what am I spraying this on, right? So I've introduced with Fuselade, since I used it last year, this year I've incorporated in this front bed a lot of autumn colors rudbeckia and Irish eye rudbeckia. Okay, so it didn't hurt my other black-eyed Susans, but they have a thinner, glossier leaf. Maybe these thick hair-like leaves, you know, with the little tiny hairs on them that are more coarse, maybe it's going to affect those different. So I have to be careful when I use it this year. It is what it is. It's about being careful. It's about being deliberate. It's about being precise, and it's about being courteous. I need to be courteous. Maybe my neighbor next door doesn't want all of her Bermuda gone. Maybe the majority of her lawn is Bermuda. And then I'm going to spray Fuselade all over my yard. It's going to drift into her yard, and now her Bermuda is now starting to die, which exposes tons of bare ground. So I'm going to need to go reseed with a turf-type tall fescue over there just to cover up my mistake. But I wanted to show you how precise I was when I was making these 3 flower beds with that my intent is to put some clematis over there and a lot of clearance plants. Now I'm doing this pro bono, right? But what is the worst thing you could possibly do is I've already spent $75, and that's not even including plants, on helping this lady across the street. I've already spent $75 of my own money doing this. And now when I'm spraying those beds, I do something stupid because I'm a moron and I'm spraying my sprayer up above my head and being an idiot or whatever these people on the internet are actually doing. And I don't know because none of them get caught on camera. We just see the after effects of some YouTuber with 150,000 subscribers whose livelihood is based on growing food in her backyard.
One of the things you worry about as a gardener is getting just drift damage from neighbors. I'm really sad about it.
And she's absolutely adorable, and she's sitting there crying because of what their neighbor did, spraying poison ivy on the corner of the fence, right? That's what we see. We see the aftermath. We don't see what that person actually did. Hey, I sprayed the corner of the fence over there. The video that I'm talking about, and I'll try to link that in the description below. She was saying that her, and you're gonna fall in love with this girl. She's cute as a button, and she really cares about what she's doing, right? And she has a very good channel, and her neighbor came over and said to her and her husband, hey, we sprayed that corner. I just wanted to let you know I sprayed some herbicide on that corner over there. We have a lot of poison ivy over there, and we're trying to get on top of it, right? Well, they wiped out like 10 feet of her livelihood on that side of the yard. Peppers, I think there was maybe some onions or garlic over there or something like that, tomatoes, some beans, They just, because she's doing a high density gardening scenario, right? So she's got a lot of stuff packed in there, and it's just now it's all burnt up. There's no reason why they should have their hands on a sprayer that's got a non-selective herbicide in it. They're too stupid. What absolute moron sprays the side of a fence that's got poison ivy on it, that's got gaps this big in it? So what does that do to the already tarnished reputation of any herbicide? All you got to do is say the word herbicide, and all of a sudden people are starting burning bridges. Well, now it's I don't think it's the herbicide's fault. Just like I don't think if somebody wants to do something stupid with a firearm, it's the firearm's fault. It's not the firearm's fault that the person holding the firearm did something stupid. When I'm going down range, the weapon's unlocked, the barrel is facing maybe off to the left or off to the right, and then I go check my target. The weapon doesn't jump off the counter and start shooting downrange. It doesn't do that. Just like glyphosate doesn't jump out of the tank sprayer and start spraying all over the place like a loose fire hose from the cartoons. That doesn't happen. I mean, I guess that's actually a lot more likely than a firearm jumping off the table, but you see what I'm saying, right? It's the idiot behind the nozzle, it's the idiot behind the weapon. And I look at those both very similarly, and I'm not gonna go too far into this, but why do we show so much restraint, and we're so deliberate, and we're so like at the range, but then when we go to spray glyphosate or we spray a herbicide, we're not deliberate at all? Do we use a flamethrower to go duck hunting? No. So why would you spray? You have no idea if you're going into a village to take down a target, you do not go in there. A 240 Bravo, on a tripod, you're not raking through the whole village. You go in and you're deliberate, and you're gonna take that guy with minimum casualties. That's always the point. It's the same thing when I go into my flower bed to target some Bermuda. Either I'm using Fuselade or I'm using up a little bit of the tank I've got mixed up with a non-selective herbicide. I'm going there, I'm being deliberate. I'm just using a dribble like a 60-year-old man with his 15th time to the bathroom that night. It's just a dribble. That's all you're trying to do, is get a little bit on the foliage. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff. It's specifically designed to unalive plants, just like a weapon is specifically, has specifically evolved over the years to be better and better and better about unaliving something with a heartbeat. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to a plant. Firearms are dangerous to people in the wrong hands. So I want to put that out there, that mindset. We want to be real deliberate when we use herbicides. We want to be real deliberate when you use any kind of chemical, because you don't know what's on the other side of the fence. That is my main point, and I know this is not typical funny guy commentary like you're used to, but that's it. I was watching another one. I just got real fired up. I was watching another one where this guy's neighbor came in when he was on vacation, or he's renting. Anyway, he's an Englishman, and he set up this entire oasis. Spent thousands of dollars setting up a little pond, and his front yard was all natives, and his backyard was all natives and host species for butterflies that migrated through that were endangered. He's really very passionate about this. And his neighbor went through, not only hacked a bunch of stuff, like reached over his fence with some loppers and started topping some of his trees. She was going over there and she was spraying through fence gaps this big. And she was spraying from her yard, spraying into his yard. And she's screwed.
Fine, right?
I am aware of
And I'm aware of the law because I was a tree surgeon for 10 years.
If you want to take it further, Joel, knock yourself out and do it.
Well, you're the one that's caused criminal damage. You've
It's
destroyed
not
these
criminal
hedges.
damage.
It is. Cutting other people's... You tell me that's
Fine.
alive, is it?
Go report it. Do what you've got to do, mate.
What about the spraying on my side?
I didn't spray your side, I sprayed my side, and it came.
Well, have you seen my front
Yeah,
garden?
I've seen your front
You
garden.
saw me. I replaced that boundary for you. That garden is 2 years old.
I know.
I spent thousands of pounds on that garden, and you've
Well, then
sprayed
you're-
all the
you're
bloody
a mug,
trees and
because
shrubs.
It looks a sight.
A mug?
You're supposed to maintain this stuff, and don't give me wildlife and rewilding. That's not what. That isn't what that is.
Is it not? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll send you a link to a video on YouTube I've done, a wildlife garden in the front garden, right?
If you say so.
That's full, well, it's better than a mown piece of grass. Yes, it attracts more wildlife.
In your opinion.
No, it's proven. I'll send you the link. I'll show you all the wildlife that's turned up compared to a mown sterile piece of grass.
Because she's literally on camera admitting it, and she was actually kind of sassy about it. So thank the good Lord that she was talking to a polite Englishman who cared about native species and that sort of thing, so a caring guy, versus a, I don't know, prior military hillbilly from the Ozarks. We can both thank our lucky stars that wasn't the situation that God put me in, because it wouldn't have worked out for anybody involved. The local constable would be writing some letters. Let's just say that. Oh man, that fired me up, especially how little snotty she got about it. That it was that entitlement, that she didn't like how it looked. She didn't like how it looked. It all came out of it, you know, that she was spraying it because it was real weedy. Well, guess what? Native plants look like weeds, right? Because native plants are usually growing wherever in the hell a native plant wants to grow. They don't care about you. It's a native plant. It's going to grow in the crack of a sidewalk, right? Milkweed grows everywhere. Pokeweed grows everywhere. Oh, what a frustrating video to watch. I tell you what, I had to take 2 blood pressure pills just from watching those 2 videos. One per video. Oh man. Because people were being selfish and they weren't being deliberate and they weren't treating a herbicide like for its intent, right? What is the intent of a herbicide? It's to kill something. So stop aiming the end of that sprayer like there's no ramifications, right? When you draw your weapon, you're drawing your weapon for a reason. When you press the trigger on your tank sprayer, be deliberate, little dribbles, be precise, be a sniper, don't be a machine gunner. All right, guys, my name's Stuart Moore. This is Landscape Rescue. This is a spider. Thank you for letting me into your home, talk about plants. I don't know if anybody will be able to see that. There's a spider, I'm looking right at him. He's right there.